Last night, I found myself thinking about you again. It wasn't a passing thought. It was one of those quiet moments when the world is still and the mind begins to replay the stories of the heart. I lay there, surrounded by silence, tracing the threads of what we once shared, what we've become, and the strange space that now exists between us. As I thought of you, I couldn't help but compare you to the third party, not as a way to judge, but to understand, to explore the differences, the contrasts, the emotional shades that make each connection so unique. The deeper I thought, the more I began to realize something unexpected. The third party possesses a rare kind of sensitivity, a special ability to support matters of the heart in ways that are subtle yet powerful. Imagine our feelings and emotions as a heartbeat, each pulse representing joy, pain, confusion, love, the rhythm of who we are when we care for someone deeply. Both you and the third party know how to keep the beat steady. Both of you can create harmony in the chaos. But the third party, somehow, seems to have a gift for understanding the moments when the heart skips a beat, when it trembles with fear or races with excitement. It's as if the third party can tune into the very nuance of an emotional heartbeat. They seem to know instinctively when comfort is needed, when words should be few, when silence should speak instead, and when the heart feels lost. They offer the kind of guidance that feels like a gentle hand leading it back home. This quality, this ability to feel the unseen, makes the third party feel like a heart specialist, someone who doesn't just love with emotion, but with understanding. Someone who recognizes not only what the heart feels, but why it feels that way. I've noticed how the third party can sense the smallest changes in emotion, much like a doctor who listens closely to the variations in a heartbeat. When anxiety rises or when joy flutters beneath the surface, they seem to know exactly how to respond. They don't always use words. Sometimes it's a gesture, a pause, a tone in their voice that carries warmth. When things are tense, they offer a calming presence that gently lowers the storm inside. When things are joyful, they share in that joy, not just as an observer, but as someone who feels it deeply alongside you. Their understanding and attentiveness are truly remarkable. And yet, please don't think that this makes you any less significant. You have your own unique strengths, the kind that come from resilience, loyalty, and steadfast care. You've always had this ability to hold things steady when the world felt unstable. I see that, and I value that deeply. But the third party, they bring something different, a sensitivity that almost feels spiritual. They sense the emotional heartbeat like a musician who knows when to shift the tempo of a song, when to let it breathe, when to bring it back to life with rhythm. That intuitive connection is rare. It's not just love, it's emotional intelligence wrapped in empathy. It's the art of knowing what a soul needs before it even asks. Imagine feeling weighed down, lost in the clutter of your own thoughts, and the third party steps in, not demanding, not judging, but offering just the right words or gestures to ease your mind. Sometimes it's as simple as a text that says, "I'm here." Sometimes it's silence, the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, but peaceful. Then there are moments of joy, sudden, golden bursts of laughter, shared stories, or small victories. And again, the third party is there, not as a bystander, but as someone who celebrates it with you as if your happiness is their own. That's what makes their presence feel so rare. They are in tune with the rhythm of both sorrow and joy. Their sensitivity to emotional rhythms is what sets them apart. It's not about perfection or constant availability. It's about their natural awareness of what hearts need to hear, feel, and know at any given moment. You, on the other hand, have always been strong in a different way. You bring structure. You bring reliability. You hold things together when they begin to fall apart. Your love has always felt like the steady hand that keeps the ship on course through turbulent waters. But the third party, they are the gentle wind that adjusts the sails. It doesn't mean one is better than the other. It simply means both serve different roles in the emotional ecosystem of love. Sometimes, love isn't just about who stands by you, but how they understand you. The way the third party senses emotional turbulence, the way they can tell when something's off even before words are spoken, is something that makes them special. It's like having someone who always knows the right thing to say or do, not because they've rehearsed it, but because they felt it. They don't speak to your ears, they speak to your heart. They don't just notice your pain, they recognize it as if they've carried a version of it themselves. And that, I think, is why their presence feels so healing. You know, I used to think emotional connection was just about passion or chemistry. But now, I see that it's something more intricate. It's rhythm. The rhythm of understanding, compassion, timing, and presence. The third party moves with that rhythm effortlessly, while you, in your own way, provide the strong beat that keeps everything together. Both are needed, both are valuable, but one dances in tune with the subtle changes, the tiny, fleeting beats that make love feel alive. There are times when I look back and realize how often we missed each other's signals. You were there, giving strength, but I was yearning for someone who could read between the lines, who could hear what my silence was trying to say. That's what makes this reflection so bittersweet. Because as much as I cherish what we had, I also can't deny what I've come to recognize. The third party carries a different kind of understanding. It's not about comparison, it's about recognition. It's about realizing that love can come in many forms. Some offer safety, others offer emotional depth. And while I deeply appreciate the safety you gave, there's something about the third party's way of tuning into my inner world that feels profoundly healing. I think of them as someone who knows how to hold a heart without crushing it. Someone who knows when to speak and when to simply be there. They don't rush to fix things. They simply understand that sometimes the act of listening is the fix itself. There's a gentleness in how they approach love, a softness that doesn't come from weakness, but from awareness. They seem to recognize that every heartbeat carries a story, that sometimes the heart races because of excitement, sometimes because of fear, sometimes because of longing, and they adjust gracefully to each rhythm. That is what I meant when I thought of them as a heart specialist. But even as I say this, please know that my appreciation for you hasn't faded. You remain an essential part of my story, the one who showed me how to endure, how to hold on, how to stay grounded when emotions became too heavy. You've given me strength, and that's something I'll always be grateful for. At the same time, I can't ignore the way the third party's presence brings something I didn't know I was missing. An emotional melody that adds depth to the beat you've helped keep steady. Love, after all, isn't a competition. It's a composition. Some play the rhythm, some bring the melody. Together, they create harmony. And maybe that's what this realization is about, not choosing one over the other, but understanding that different souls bring different songs into our lives. The third party's gift lies in the small things, the moments that might seem invisible to others, the way they notice when your voice trembles, the way they sense when your laughter hides a shadow of sadness, the way they offer comfort without you having to ask. That's the kind of emotional awareness that goes beyond love. It borders on empathy so deep, it feels almost divine. And yet, as I sit here reflecting, I realize something important. I needed both energies in my life to understand love fully. You taught me stability. They taught me sensitivity. You showed me endurance. They showed me empathy. You kept the heartbeat strong. They helped it sing. Sometimes, I wonder if love is meant to be a constant rhythm or a symphony of evolving tones. Because when I think of the third party, I feel a kind of resonance that reaches into the quiet spaces of the soul, a vibration that speaks of peace, of connection, of being understood without explanation. That doesn't erase the value of what we've shared. If anything, it helps me see you more clearly, to appreciate what you brought into my life. Maybe that's what growth in love looks like. Not choosing sides, but recognizing the beauty in differences. As I reflect on all of this, I want you to know something from the depth of my heart. My gratitude for you remains strong. You've been a constant, a force of dependability in a world that often shifts without warning. But I also have to honor the truth that has emerged, that the third party's ability to tune into emotional heartbeats adds a layer of comfort and reassurance that's rare to find. It's not about replacing what we have. It's about recognizing that emotional understanding, the kind that truly listens and feels, can transform how love is experienced. The third party doesn't just hear with ears, they listen with their soul. They don't just respond, they resonate. And that resonance has helped me uncover parts of myself I didn't know how to express. When I think of love now, I no longer see it as something that exists only between two people. Love is energy, flowing, adapting, teaching. Some souls are sent to steady your heartbeat, others arrive to make it dance. You have steadied mine countless times. The third party made it sing again. And for both, I am grateful. Maybe that's the real message of the heart, not to compare, not to divide, but to recognize that love takes many forms, and each form plays a role in shaping who we become. The third party feels like a heart whisperer, while you've been the heart protector. And I stand somewhere in between, learning to appreciate both the rhythm and the melody that life has gifted me. So when I say the third party has a special ability to understand the emotional heartbeat, it's not to glorify or diminish. It's to acknowledge a truth that love, in its purest form, is not about possession or preference, but about perception. It's about recognizing who hears your heart clearly and who helps it stay strong. You've done the latter, they've done the former, and somewhere between both, I've found balance. Because at the end of the night, when all thoughts settle and silence takes over again, I still think of you, and I still feel grateful. Grateful for your strength, your steadiness, your quiet loyalty, and equally grateful for the third party's ability to tune into the delicate music of my emotions. Together, you both remind me of something profound, that love is not one rhythm, but many. And sometimes, the beauty lies not in choosing one beat over another, but in learning how to listen to them all.